Hi friends, it's me again. It is Christmas Day when I'm filming this because I have no Christmas plans. I probably won't leave my house, but I did get ready. Merry belated Christmas whenever you watch this, yay. I thought we could talk about my favorite series of 2023. Oh my god, this lighting is atrocious. So the light can hit me a little more from that angle too. I learned something in film school. Okay, fuck it. The lighting's gonna be a little off because it's gloomy and then it's sunny and then it's back to gloomy, whatever. I don't know exactly how many series I read this year, but we're gonna do top 5. I think, why not? Coming in at number 5, we have the Love Light series by B.K. Borison. I read this earlier in the year. I want to say around March, April. I listened to the books on audio and I really enjoyed them. The narrator was okay. Like, I wasn't super thrilled, but I did really enjoy the stories in these. In the Weeds is for sure my favorite. This book almost made it into my top 10 of the year, but it's an honorable mention. Why not? Super fun, super cutesy, especially if you're in the mood for, like, I don't know, just like seasonal reading, I guess. So you have Love Light Farms, which takes place around Christmas time, I believe. So it's very Christmassy. A lot of people recommend it as a Christmas book. And then you have In the Weeds, which takes place in the spring, I believe. I hope so. I think it's spring. Mixed Signals is, it's not fall. Why am I blanking on the seasons now? Winter, spring, fall. Oh my god, why can't I think of all the 4 seasons? We're in winter right now, then that's gonna turn into spring. Summer. How could I forget that? I was literally born in the fucking summer. Oh my god. Does this take place in the summer? Anyway, I think Mixed Signals takes place in the summer. I don't remember it though. All I know is like the next book that comes out, the 4th book, that takes place in the fall. So that's why I think this one has to take place in summer, because I'm pretty sure this is spring. I promise I like this series. My brain is just blanking on fucking seasons right now. Holy shit. Anyway, I think B.K. Borison does a really good job establishing a small town found family kind of feel, and these books are funny. Like, they're actually rom-com-y. I remember when I was reading Love Light Farms, I'm like, I can see this as a Hallmark movie. Like, it's so cute and I really enjoy her writing. I was pleasantly surprised how much I ended up enjoying these books and the relationships that took place, and they still have an essence of being super hot and steamy, but it's also just like really wholesome. I love these characters. Being in this world just feels like a really big hug, and I appreciate that. And I cannot wait for the 4th book that I think is coming out in, let me not lie since I can't even remember fucking seasons right now. It's coming out next year. Let me also note that you will see some of these books in my top 10 reads of the year. You're gonna hear me talk about these books a lot in the next few days, so just bear with me, okay? I love these books a lot and it's wrap up time. So the next series I really enjoyed. I actually read this month, December, literally a couple weeks ago, and it's in my top 10. It's in my top 5 series. It's fucking amazing. At number 4, we have the All the King's Men series by Kennedy Ryan. There are 3 books, but I don't have the 3rd book. And the first 2 follow Lennox and Maxim, and then the next book follows her friend, and I'm blanking on his name. I can't remember anything today. I'm all over the place. I didn't end up liking Queen Move as much as I thought I was going to. Like, I feel like this series just could have been a duology, personally. I enjoyed the shit out of this series. I ended up binging it on audio, which was a mistake for me because once I finished, I literally had a meltdown and sobbed because I didn't want to say goodbye. It's fine. I'm okay. This one is more of like a political romance, which I found myself really enjoying, and I remember reading New Camelot at the beginning of this year as well, which is also like political-ish because it's like the president and the vice president and all that. This one's a little different. There's still politics involved. Like, Maxim is an environmentalist, so he cares about the world. Lennox is a campaign manager, I believe. There are really good conversations just about like politics in general and differing opinions about things, and I really found myself enjoying. Lennox and Maxim have my entire heart. My friend Kendra says that they are Olivia and Fitz coded, and if you know me, you know Scandal is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and she did not lie. They're both stubborn, but they're also both hot and just soulmates, and I miss them every single day. I highly recommend listening on audio as well because it was fucking fantastic and phenomenal. Y'all, please pick up the series because it snuck in. It snuck in. I read this 2 weeks ago and it made it. So at number 3, we have the Windy City series by Liz Tom Ford. You guys have heard me rave about the series enough this year. I feel like y'all know I liked Mile High. I really loved The Right Move, and then Caught Up is like the perfect in between. I feel like if I had to rank them, it would be The Right Move, Caught Up, and then Mile High. This is also another interconnected standalone. So you have Mile High that follows Xander's and Stevie, The Right Move that follows my babies Ryan and Indy, and then Caught Up, which is Kai and Miller's story that came out this year. We're at a point in the series where it's really starting to feel like a found family, which I love. I love getting to that point when I'm reading, where I'm like, all of these characters are coming together, they're becoming friends, and I don't know, it just feels so good once I'm at that point, because it makes me even more excited for the next book that comes out. I read Mile High earlier this year and I liked it, but then The Right Move completely shocked me. It's one of my favorite reads of the year, one of my favorite books Liz has written, and then Caught Up came out and it just kind of like sealed the deal that I really enjoy this series, and I think it's very unique and fun. Number 2 is also a series I've been talking about this entire year, I feel like, but it is Fallen Men by Gianna Darling. These aren't all the books, these are just the only ones I have in the discrete covers. I do have all the girl covers except for the newest book that just came out last month, but those are fucking heavy, okay, and I'm not strong. So as mentioned before, Fallen Men is a taboo motorcycle club romance, heavy on the taboo. Please check up trigger warnings. I cannot stress that enough. This is one of those series where it's like you need to know the context of what's happening before you dive in, I feel like, because if not, you will probably rate the series very differently, okay? I went in knowing that I could not take this series seriously. Don't get me wrong, it still had very heartfelt and warm and crazy moments, but it's like, because it's so taboo, I had to set aside some morals and just vibe for a minute. And even that got hard sometimes, because there are definitely books that I dislike more than others in this series because of how taboo it was, but either way, I still had so much fun. It made me fall even more in love with Gianna Darling, because last year I started with her Anti-Heroes in Love duet, which is right here. So finally starting this series was great because it's been on my radar since I joined the book community, and I'm glad that I really got to do it this summer, especially around the same time that some of my bookish friends were reading it, so we could all talk about it. I had a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it, and the spice in this, yeah, so this solidified Gianna as one of my auto-buy authors. Like, I adore her, and I'm excited for the next book, even though we just got the next book, Caution to the Wind, that just came out last month, and even now I'm like, okay, where's the next one? Because I just never want to be rid of this world. I'm so in love with it. And at number 1, we have the Simple Wild series by K.A. Tucker, another series that took me completely by surprise because I read it in November and it's in my top 10. It's obviously in my top 5. It's number 1 in my top 5 series of the year. The series has sat on my shelf for years, and for some reason it just never felt right picking it up, so I don't know what compelled me to finally do it in November, but I'm glad I did, because I am so obsessed with the setting in this, with the characters Jonah and Kala. It's one of the most domestic series I've ever read, which I do enjoy. I love reading about characters do nothing, essentially. Like, once I have that rapport with them where it's like I know I love them enough to read a book about them just being domestic and going to the grocery store and learning how to drive, like, ugh. So you have the Simple Wilds, Wild at Heart, and Forever Wilds, which follows Jonah and Kala, and then Running Wild is Marie and, oh god, what's his name? Marie and Tyler's story, and Marie is Jonah's best friend. The Simple Wild follows Kala visiting Alaska to see her dad. She hasn't seen him in a couple years, and he is diagnosed with cancer, I believe. She goes to Alaska to see him, and she ends up meeting Jonah, who is a very grumpy bush pilot. Does not like her at first, but then they end up forming like this weird friendship where they pull pranks on each other and just joke around, and they're so hot and so cute, and I love them so much. Wild at Heart, you have Jonah and Kala like really figuring out their relationship and finding their place in Alaska and just learning more about each other, which I love. Forever Wild is their Christmas novella, and then, like I said, Running Wild follows Marie and Tyler, and Marie used to be in love with Jonah, so it was interesting, a very wild ride. I love this series so fucking much. I cannot thank my friends Kendra and Kayla for recommending it to me enough. It was phenomenal. It holds a special place in my heart. I have not been able to stop thinking about these characters since reading this book, and they're gonna stay with me forever. Also cried finishing this because I didn't want to say goodbye. Like, it was a great time. I read it exactly when I needed to, and if you were in the mood for a very low stakes, emotional, but kind of like domestic read, a domestic couple, I cannot suggest this enough. It was spectacular to me. So Simple Wild at number 1. I also bought character art for Jonah and Kala because that's how obsessed I am. If this doesn't convince you to read it, I don't know what will. Like, look how hot they are. Are you joking? Ugh. So there you have it, besties. This is probably a short video and I could have gone in depth a little more on these books, but I feel like I've talked about them so much. Just know that I love them. They hold a special place in my heart and I am so excited to see what these authors do next. They're definitely auto-buy authors for me. I hope y'all have or had a good Merry Christmas. As usual, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, please subscribe and I will see y'all probably in the new year. Mwah.